so they don't see you.
No idea that my mic was off. The new NBA 2K game is bad. Alright, yo. Master, man. Alright, yo. Take it easy. How long have I been streaming? 50 minutes. Okay. Just got another 30 minutes left in me. Ray Lewis' son has died at 28 years old. Damn. Another thing I'm still thinking about is all these streamers are leaving Twitch. Twitch basically took away these people's money and their profitability. To me, signing a deal with a company like Twitch is good, and then you got a partnership. But honestly speaking, your money being connected to one thing and then one thing only, gaming, I don't know about that. Ninja's in a great position because other people will actually, companies will actually basically pay him to critique the game and try it out. Other people who maybe had that capability are no longer doing that, like Myth, Daquan, and Hamlin's. I think they got in a contract deal with their team, and they basically walked away. I think Myth is no longer with TSM, if I'm not mistaken. Pamaj left FaZe. All these different people are leaving these gaming organizations, and I don't know. To me, it's interesting. You know, you can't rely on one source of income, and then too, these people got to promote products like G Fuel. G Fuel, yeah. FaZe, yeah, Pamaj just left FaZe the other day. He made a whole video on it. He said it was not what he basically thought it was, and I guess he grown. This and the third. I think like Hex, he left Optic a long time ago, so that's something to think about. I'd say the competitive gaming scene is getting smaller and smaller, and I don't think the money. Twitch, yeah, Twitch is definitely going to lose a lot of people, for sure. And I don't think it's necessarily greed in terms of why people are going to leave, but I think it's the fact that people don't have control, and then people are not getting a good percentage. Now, the new platform Kick, I think that's going to be dead on arrival. Call me crazy for that. I think it's going to be dead on arrival. You have to have major people basically leave, and then still, I would question, how is anybody going to be a manager for a platform that doesn't exist? You don't have the right people there. You don't have the right staff. That's not me talking junk. It's just like you're not established yet. And then they said they're going to pay small-time streamers an hourly rate, like $5 or something like that an hour, to basically stream so they don't have to get like 1,000 subscribers or whatnot to start making money. Which I agree, that's at least a good starting point. But as far as anything else, I don't like video games that much. I'm going to be on here like, 10 hours. I'm not getting paid competitively. I don't think that's a great source of income, at least for me. And two, video games are going to get stale and dry. Like all these little tournament stuff like Mortal Kombat, Evo, and all this stuff, that stuff is dead on arrival. Doesn't matter what type of commentators or people they bring in. I mean, Sonic Fox, he's been pretty good at fighting games for a long time. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of the actual games and then just Mortal Kombat in itself, it's been pretty good. I like Mortal Kombat, but again, Mortal Kombat 11 was a disappointment. I bought that Aftermath pack when I was, I turned 21. I bought that for myself as a birthday gift. It was alright, and I enjoyed it. I played it. This, that, and the third. I went out to a little steakhouse thing, and it was alright. That was like, you know, the place was very professional. Didn't get COVID. That was good. Came back and played that. I bought it for boredom because we were under lockdown. That's the only reason why I bought it, really. And then when you think about long term, about like money, and then games, I would never buy another game full price again. For the most part. I know people talk about that Star Wars game, and then the Harry Potter game. That was good, but I think all that then subsided. Not paying $75 for a game. Can't do it. Can't do it. The only game that, like I said, that I purchased, and I purchased the thing for the pack. I thought it was money well spent. Is Wolong, and can't do that. Can't purchase another game and do that again. Can't. Let's see. Put that down. Yeah. In terms of money, I think a lot of stuff's not worth it. Like if someone had to ask me what I think about, you know, certain watches or whatnot, what I think about it. I had a conversation with my dad the other day. He was asking what I think about, you know, the watch market and then if it's good. Like I know the latest trends with watches or whatnot, and Breitling is not a good watch in terms of it's great for pre-owned. Don't get me wrong. If people like Breitling, it's great for pre-owned. You're gonna lose money on that. Rolex, I don't think people really lose money with Rolex. Not that often, at least. You can get a old Rolex, like a Oyster Precision, for like $2,200. That I know. That's like a watch from the 70s. The only thing about it, the dial and the hands and stuff like that look terrible. Doesn't look clean. But then again, if someone changes the hand and then the dial, it ruins the watch and the value plummets. So that's something to think about. And then all basically Rolex does, in my honest opinion, they just change the bezel. They'll just change the power reserve for the stuff like the GMT Master 2 Pepsi. That's around, I would say, $2,200. Retail is like around 14 something. And then the Submariner No Date is like $8,800, and then the market value for that is like, I say 10.5. It's a good 10.5. So people can make a little bit of money off that. I know I'm very interested in the watch wholesale or retail business because, I mean, you get at least a decent product. I'm not necessarily, I like Rolex a little bit, but I don't like them that much. Wow, that guy blasted me. I don't see how. I'll probably play a few more, but yeah. The values of stuff is dwindling, and people have to be careful. Like, I remember someone said that the Lefty Sprite, it did go up to like $50,000, the Rolex. I know the end of, I think it's the 126720 VTNR. Hopefully that's the correct reference number for it. I try to at least know the reference number. Yeah, I was correct. The 126720 VTNR. That's definitely. What's the retail price for that? Isn't going down a lot, and people are getting burned. That watch is $12,000, and it's gone. Well, 22 between 22 and $28,000. So I mean that's a good profit. Don't get me wrong. But everybody can't walk into an authorized dealer and say, "Let me go and get a Daytona." It's not gonna happen. I know people. I walked into AD not too long ago. Just look at the watch and see what they have. They had a decent selection or whatnot, but they don't have everything. Because where I'm at, they only have like Rolex is king. Rolex is king. Where I'm at, you can find Rolex easily. Protect, we only have that like 40 minutes away where I live at, and the Protects they got is terrible. Then they have Protects in Charlotte, where I live like 3.5 hours away from Charlotte, so that's pretty bad in my opinion. Like, to me, it'd be easier to go to a place and travel like an hour by plane to go at least where a lot of stuff is, like Vacheron, Patek, Richard Mille. Brigade doesn't have a huge retail presence, and they lose a lot of money. AP, I like AP a little bit, but I'm not necessarily a huge fan of AP. Their own line of watches are pretty much the same. They're not a Rolex in my opinion. So I'll probably say Richard Mille is terrible. Richard Mille, for the most part, I think they are innovative. I don't think a lot of their watches are 100% attractive. And not everything they release is good. Then there's other places, other watch companies that are not popular. They don't have a retail space. No one knows about them. Like Grubel Forsey. What's it got? Vianney Halter. You have a lot of other people. Dave Bethune. These watch brands are not big by any means. And they command, I would say, a steep premium. And then, like, people say a tourbillon watch is expensive. It is, and it's not. I get a tourbillon watch probably for like $20,000. Never heard of them. Yeah, 'cause they're not popular at all. They're not popular. You can search up Grubel Forsey. Grubel Forsey is high-end horology. Those are expensive watches, and the only thing about it, the Vection Piece 1, you can search it up when you have a chance. It's like $750,000. That's how much the retail is, and the premium, it's not going to command 750. You're going to take like a, how would I put it? You're going to take a $150,000 haircut on that. But it's really one of those things that are, how can I say, it's a true collector piece. I would never wear that. That's just my opinion. But their Balancier Convex GMT is on the money, but that's like $400,000. That's just way too much money. But I know I'm an aspiring watchmaker, so to a certain extent, it's one of those things. I think I really like watches a lot. And I'm certified in diamonds and certain stuff like that. I'm 100% legit. I'm certified in diamonds, so I keep up with these watches and all the stuff. Like Patek really doesn't have that much coming out. They did that thing for Tokyo. They released like a minute repeater, and that's like what they're trying to basically get people to pay. It's like $2 million. Yeah, this minute repeater has a world timer minute repeater. I don't have a tourbillon on it. It's beautiful, but $2 million. That's not necessarily going, but only but so many places. Like it'd probably go to somebody in Dubai, that's for sure. And then they don't make but so many examples, and that's not going to go out pretty much to anybody. Now Jacob and Co. I don't like Jacob and Co. I think what he does is impressive, but the average person, like, who's going to wear a $20 million watch with yellow diamonds on it? I definitely agree because, you know, I do stuff with diamonds too, but I've looked at diamonds and sort of stuff like that. But for him to get yellow diamonds and make a whole case out of it, that's impressive. And then he had to go and get a cut a certain way and find the matching color and all that type of stuff. That takes time. It took him 4 years to make that. And then him to have a tourbillon and all this stuff in there. Jacob is definitely blowing a lot of minds and having fun with it. But $20 million only means that's only going, again, to a handful of people. And it's overinflated. Like, Andrew Tate has that Bugatti Chiron watch. And that's like, what, $400,000. You're not going to get $400,000 for that watch. That watch isn't $400,000. I know Andrew Tate said he does not like Richard Mille watches, and that's perfectly fine. I don't like Jacob and Co. I think my favorite dress watch brand, honestly, that's kind of like relatively, I wouldn't say affordable, but it's decent. It's been around a long time. Is Vacheron Constantin. They make pretty decent watches. They've been around since like 1755. They have this watch called the 222. It's pretty good. It's around. They did like a $4,000 increase in price, which I disagree with. It went from 69,000 to 73,000, and I think that's pretty steep. And then there's this other watch brand that's I think is pretty good. It's called FP Journe, and the watches, you know, with the value, there's not that many being made, and the wait list is like 6 years or so. I'm gonna make a handful of examples. This is watch FP Journe makes called Chronomet Blue. Pretty nice dial. Pretty rare. The watch itself retail for $20,000, and you will be lucky to find papers, a box, and get it for $130,000. So watches, in a sense, they're a good investment, and they're something collectible. So to me, I consider it art. I consider something of value, and then also too, it's cool. My opinion. I'm definitely a fan of art, and then like, you know, craftsmanship. So in terms of like business and, you know, design, I think that for the most part with watches, as long as it's not, you know, bedazzled out with bling and all this type of stuff, diamonds encrusted, that basically ruins the watch. Yeah, someone probably like, what am I talking about ruining the watch? If it's factory short, if anybody gets a watch, I would recommend them to get it pave set, because it's not flashy, it's not blingy, not gonna look like you have something just shining on your wrist, drawing unnecessary attention. That's not necessarily a good thing. And then two, I say watches are meant to be worn, but you know, again, depending on what type of area you're at, I don't want people to get robbed or hurt for a watch. It's always best to, like someone getting robbed, to obviously comply and let it see another day. Secondly, I would say watches, for the most part, you know, you got starter brands. Breitling's okay. Tudor is basically Rolex, so that's something to think about. You get a nice Tudor for like $3,800. Tudor, basically, you're gonna lose. You're gonna take a haircut, but not that bad. And other brands, like let's say let's say Timex. Timex is good, but it's a quartz watch. Quartz watches are terrible. And then Hublot's terrible too. Hublot is terrible. Hublot, you're gonna lose a lot of your money if you buy brand new. That's terrible. And then the stuff they're using, the watch itself that like Hublot creates, it could be done for like, you know, I say $1,500. If you were to buy a Hublot today, you would lose a lot of money. Like a Hublot Big Bang chronograph is like $12,000, and market value is like $5,000, or barely that. And max, I'd give it $5,700. Hublot does not retain its value so much, and same thing with AP. AP doesn't always retain its value, so that's something to think about. Let me see. Ain't nobody even here. It's a horrible lobby. I'll probably put like 2 more, and I'm really gonna get off. But yeah, a lot of these companies and places, you gotta spend a lot of money. Like you walk into a jewelry store and they're authorized dealer for a thing. Like you live in a major city like New York, at a place an authorized dealer. Even if you spent, let's say, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you cannot go and get your particular watch. Even if you bought bracelets, jewelry, this, that, and the stuff, you're not priority. I think that's wrong. Like, you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, you should be able to get a Daytona, whatever you want, to a certain extent. Like, it should be allocated. That's not always the case. And then that's why people have to go to the secondary market to try to go and find it. Which I mean is good, but overpaying for something is bad. And most of the time, these people are drop shipping watches left and right there to make their percentage. I'll give you a prime example. Like if someone wants to get a, let's say a not popular watch, like a Panerai Navy Seals, that watch is like not that, not really a great watch in my opinion. No one really knows what it is, but it costs a lot of money and it's retaining its value fairly decent. Let's see how much it costs now. Panerai Navy Seal. $10,600. Okay. And then the other one was going for $26,000. It's amazing. I know the other one is like 13, but again, it's not a popular watch. People gotta go and find it. And people trying to make their percentages. With money in business, I think, you know, you gotta be a customer that knows the value of this stuff and then also not overpaying. A lot of people overpay for certain stuff and it's not necessarily a good thing. And then I'm seeing all these jewelers. I know people have to make money, and a lot of the jewelers stuff, I'm kind of in the industry to a certain extent, that people charge, you know, 2.5 to 3 times the amount. And then jewelers get scammed as well. Somebody probably like, how do jewelers get scammed? I messed up. I'll tell you how jewelers get scammed. Jewelers get scammed by paying more money for an ounce. They go to a person who specializes in gold, and they get their gold for somebody for, you know, normally it's supposed to be like $1 over spot. So if it's like, you know, depending on the purity, is, let's say, they get 10 karat gold, which is 41.7%. And it's supposed to be gold. Last time I checked, it's like $64. And about half that's 32. You're supposed to be paying, let's say, I'm gonna say $24. $24 or whatnot, or $25. And they're going to paying $28. They're going to be out of business. They're going to be out of business. They're not going to be profitable because, number one, you're not going to be able to make some cash jewelry and you're going to pass it out to your consumers. And then two, I walk in these jewelry places now that I know certain stuff, how much they're really trying to charge. And then, I can do the math because, I got the experience. Well, not necessarily experience. I know how much this stuff costs now. And I know the formulas. These guys, they're at least making, I'm going to say, between $6,000 and certain stuff off people. Nothing wrong with that. But where's the money going? Where's the money going to? Like, you spent, like, $6,000, even in a place, like, had they even watched the showcase, had they even put money back into business? That's number one. I think oftentimes people make money. I know nothing against people who make money, but for the long term, you have to make money. You have to reinvest it back in business. And then sometimes too, certain stuff isn't selling. Jewelry is like the only business that, in a sense, you can barely liquidate some of the stuff. Like, you have some gold or you have gold dust. You can go and put that into something, to an alloy container, and melt it down and get money and get paid, get a check. So if a jewelry business goes out, maybe the person got tired of running it. Maybe they didn't have someone in the business, like a son or someone that wanted to take it over. Just want to get out of business, but it's the easiest business to get out of. With a restaurant, it's going to be a lot harder, a lot more painful, because you have no good outs with restaurants. It's bad. So, same thing with, I don't know, there's a lot of businesses that cost a lot of money, and you're not going to make money on the way out. Like, someone starts a trucking business. I don't think trucking business is a great example because that's a high cost. And two, people have to have a certain amount of drivers. And then still, people get scammed with that too. People are stealing gas or saying miles or whatnot. And then you go back and do the math. You realize that a person could have been stealing like $1.50 per mile over transport and stuff, and you really have to do the math, and you have to look at the mileage on the trucks. That's just a lot. Or like a person gets allocated money for gas, and you realize there's a pitfall, and you don't know. You check the truck. It's a lot. It's a lot. Cans. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get off this for sure. But yeah, I don't think businesses are going to be profitable long term. If they did become profitable, they got a good formula. But even though that can change. I died. I'll play like 1 to 2 more getting off for real. But yeah, businesses should not be going and charging a lot of money right off the rip. Yeah, that watch is not worth that much. The Gerard Perigo. Hold on. Alright. I'll play like 2 more. Or at least probably at least 2 more. But yeah. Me personally, I don't think that a lot of these popular places, I would say they're doing a lot in terms of making money, but in terms of actual services and facilities that they got, it's dwindling. Like, why would someone have I was in California not too long ago, and I saw, like, these jewelry spots. I wouldn't deny that they have probably nice stuff in there or whatnot, but I don't think that, even with everything, I know certain stuff you actually have to have people with guns in there or whatnot for protection, your safety, and, just the business side of certain stuff like that, and to keep everything afloat. With all these different places, people getting hit upside the head with hammers, people having bodily damage done to them. I understand that people are going through hard times or whatnot. And then there's certain people like theft rings or people going and targeting these businesses. And, for lack of better words, people are getting hurt. The police response time is not necessarily that great in certain places, even nice places. It might be a 7-minute window, but I think the average robbery to a certain extent could be between 90 seconds and the 3 minutes. People could go and basically smash up certain stuff and then take a good portion of certain stuff. Like, I know most places they have like a tip that they have is to spread the most expensive stuff all the way in the back, or spread it out and then have reinforced glass in the showcase or whatnot to make sure it's not getting smashed as hard, and then the windows or whatnot. And then in certain places, anything's up for grabs, like people breaking into pharmacies and stealing medicine or whatnot. Like San Francisco has gotten crazy, and people breaking into pharmacies. Oh no, you couldn't pay me money to live in San Francisco. Couldn't. And then you have same thing with LA and other places. Couldn't pay me money to live there either. I got family in San Diego. I mean, I was just there. I think it's cool, but I think a lot of the places, they have their own problems and whatnot, and it's too expensive to live out there. You're paying more money for gas. You're paying more money for, utilities, public transport. Not say public transport. I would never take public transport, but like definitely gas, food. You just have a variety of things that are just way too expensive, and you're not able to save. Like if you have like $100,000 or whatnot, that's your average thing, and then after taxes, and then rent, and then utilities. Let's say someone has a child, you're gonna at least need another extra 100,000 to have that child go into natal care, and then insurance, all this type of stuff. So that's a lot of things to think about, and that's a lot to deal with, and that's not standard way to live. Always worried about this, that, and the third. Oh my god, I died. I'll play 2 more. That was ridiculous. I didn't even see that guy. And I got through that. That was perfectly timed though. Yeah, for the most part now, like with business, I really can't tell people the amount of times, like, everybody's a customer or whatnot. Everybody has to do good business and I guess expand, but not expand that much or put money back. There was this guy that drove me to where I needed to go. He said he loves Chick-fil-A. To me, not that big of a fan of Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A in California is not necessarily established like that, in my honest opinion. So with Chick-fil-A being the way it is in California, I possibly say it's probably only a handful of locations. The Midwest probably has more Chick-fil-A's than California. Texas probably has more Chick-fil-A's than they do in California, whatnot. And then where I live at, and then the relative thing, is more pricier. At least like $2 more pricier than where I live at, where I'm from. So, me personally, the food still tastes the same. There's nothing special. There's no new offerings. And that's why, again, I wouldn't say I'm 100%, I wouldn't be dying to go Chick-fil-A. The only thing I didn't try out in California, too, was Raising Cane's. I should have done that. I know people say it's not that good. I know people say In-N-Out. In-N-Out burger, I'm not a fan of it. The burgers taste terrible. The fries is nasty. And it's just cheap eats. That's why I call it. You know, I know a lot of probably people be like, you know, too deep or thinking too hard about it. But you know, brand loyalty and all that type of stuff. And then for what it's worth, I couldn't see myself eating In and Out for, you know, let's say 2 or 3 times a week. I wouldn't even eat it. If I had a choice between packing lunch or cooking something, or going In and Out, I wouldn't choose cooking something or getting myself something at least better than In and Out. To me, fast food, I know my sister probably like, you know, if she's watching the stream, she probably like agree with me. And, you know, I think too hard about food. I think that's a great thing that I think hard about food. I think that's a great thing that I think hard about, you know, what I'm ingesting or putting in my body, for one. But, you know, you need to eat. If you have a little short lunch break, you know, you're not going to be able to necessarily eat, you know, at a pretty much sit down spot. You know, an hour lunch. I think an hour lunch is good, but, you know, for the matter of fact, for like fast food places, a lot of places rank low. Popeyes, McDonald's, Burger King. Burger King they're not that great. Carl's Jr. I actually kind of like a little bit. But the last thing I had from, you know, Hardee's, Carl's Jr., wasn't that great. And then I went to this place, you know, called Culver's. That place is trash. Didn't season the burger. Wasn't good. So, lack of better words, the food that we basically eat in the food place that wind up staying in the business, I can see why they wind up staying in the business, because there's not that much variety, there's not that much choices, so you're forced to eat certain stuff, and then a lot of local businesses or other people, mom and pop spots, they go there too. So all that money is circulating, and the food and options are limited, and people wind up going there. Nothing necessarily against that, but I know food-wise, some of these places will be the last places I go. In terms of tacos, taco places, I don't really eat tacos that much. Two, like, the only thing I wind up eating a lot of, in all honesty, is fajitas. I at least get that every week. I get myself some fajitas. I like Mexican food. My favorite delicacy, too, is Indian food. Had some Indian food in LA. It was pretty good. They had a little article. This place, I wound up trying it. It was good. It was in a gas station with all the press, and then the food was actually pretty good. They wound up getting themselves a brick and mortar location, so I think that was pretty good. It was money well spent. But outside of that, I think people's food and then the competition is pretty slim. If there's even any competition. Like, there was this place that I went to, it was trash. If you're ever in Seattle and you find yourself in the S Terminal, never go there. It's called Greedy Cow Burger. Now, Greedy Cow Burger is terrible, and they're just so disgusting in terms of what they're serving. They're trying to charge people for a burger and a fry, and it's $25. And there's not that many food options in the S Terminal. So you pretty much have a burger place, you have an Indian place, and I understand that Indian food is not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. Really can't control the spice. Alright. Cool. Have a good one. Peace.